Today we're jumping into part 4 of our top 50 board games of all time. I'm Mark Maya. Welcome to Board Game Coffee. Alright, now if you haven't seen the other videos for our top 50, you should check those out because right now we're jumping to number 20. Keyforge. Now this, I have Age of Ascension here, but really for my number 20, it could be any of the Keyforges. I enjoy the entire series. Another game on our list brought to us by Richard Garfield. He also brought us Goose, which was earlier on the list, which is higher to 50. You know what I mean. Anyways, so Keyforge is a 2-player card battling game. But you don't make the decks, you don't customize them. So although Mr. Garfield did Magic the Gathering, this isn't a game where you go buy cards and customize your deck. What you do is you do buy cards, but you buy entire decks complete. And these decks are randomly generated and sealed in this box. And each deck is unique. So there will be no other deck like this on the planet. So there are a certain set number of cards, it's like 200 something different cards in the set alone, and then the other sets you can mix and match them. There's more. Well, you can't mix and match them. They could technically, but what you could do is play this set versus the first set. That you could do. You don't mix your cards because each deck, not only is it unique, a unique combination of those 200 whatever cards. It has its own name that's randomly generated, so you get some crazy titles, and it also has its own unique artwork on the back of the cards that's randomly generated, which is crazy how this was put together. So each deck is unique. Now that in itself is a unique concept, and I really like it. It doesn't use like a mana system like Magic the Gathering, where you have to pay to use things. You can pretty much just play everything you want from your hand, but each deck is made up of 3 factions, and you can only play 1 faction a turn unless you have a card that tells you otherwise. So when you come out, your cards start exhausted, and then you have to wait a turn before you can use the creatures in that faction. So you have to name a faction that you're going to play. So you say, I'm going to play with the Brobnar or Brobnar, whatever, however you pronounce it, this turn. So then you can activate all your Brobnar cards, which is cool. It's a unique way of playing that I didn't know how well it was going to work until I tried it, and it works really well. So if you enjoy deck combat games like Magic the Gathering or anything like that, but you don't want the effort of building your own custom deck each time and you just want to kind of level the playing field, try out Keyforge. Oh, and the one thing that's interesting about this is you're not trying to kill the other person. You're trying to forge 3 keys, hence Keyforge. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect Ember, and you add that Ember to forge your keys. So you're trying to get Ember from your enemy by doing things. So it's not about attacking the person across the table like it would be in a game like Magic. So anyways, it's a great game. Richard Garfield knocked it out of the park again. Any card game with his name on it, I'm pretty sure is going to be a surefire hit. So if you haven't tried it yet, check out Keyforge. 19 comes to us from Stonemaier Games, and it's Tapestry, designed by none other than Jamie Stegmaier. Now, Jamie, if you're listening, buddy, you're doing a great job. You are knocking these games out of the park. Anything Stonemaier's been putting out is just nailing it. So pretty much right now, you guys have got a great run. Anything, if it's got this Stonemaier logo on it, just buy it. Chances are it's gonna be great. They've done a great job with everything I've played of theirs. Tapestry is one of the newer games on the list. And honestly, it made it on the list as soon as I played it. It's a great civilization building game. And the name Tapestry comes from, you have this little tableau in front of you where you play these tapestry cards on between your generations or eras. And each of those represents a new technological feat or some sort of cultural achievement or something in a way that your civilization has progressed, and you get a bonus. Now that bonus is either right as soon as you play it, you get it and cash out on that, or it lasts for the entire era, which is great. So everybody starts with a different civilization. If you want to win, you've got to play a certain way with your civilization, because my civilization benefits from playing differently than, say, your civilization or their civilization, hers or his. And it's really cool to try all the different tapestries now, civilizations in Tapestry. Now, I have heard a few things about people saying that the game is a little unbalanced. Not all civilizations seem fair, and you know what? From the games I've had, I could see that. And there are certain few that if you get them, you're probably going to pick them all the time. Unless you're like me and you just want to try new things. You don't really care about winning. You just want to try the new strategies. But there's so many civilizations in there that if you find that one civilization is a little too overpowered, you just don't include them in the cycle. But we do anyways. It's I still like the challenge. If somebody's playing with a civilization that I think is overpowered, I still like the challenge to beat it. You know, if I do, it feels all that much sweeter. But there are some huge point swings, which can kind of get you down, because you can have a game where you scored like, I don't know, 120 points, and then you can have your next game where you scored like 350 points or whatever, because it all depends on your the civilization and how you play it. Did you adapt in time to how that civilization plays? It's a very swingy game, but it's still so good, and it comes with these cool little painted minis. And I don't paint minis. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I'm not a very good painter, but I do like painted minis. So when a game gives me painted minis right out of the box, it's not a deluxe edition. They're all like that. You could play it differently every time you go in, and it's just a great experience. Everybody we've introduced this to just loves it, and I'd say I've probably won 50% of the time. So it seems balanced that way. There's no one person taking over. Because of so many different strategies, and I do recommend Tapestry, and if you're going to try it, just mix up your civilizations. Try a new one each time. It's just a good time. At 18, we have Spirit Island, a just wonderful cooperative brain burner. I love this game. This game is so good. The only complaint I have is that I can't get Brittany to play with me. It just never works out. Our schedules just never coincide. I'm pretty sure she'll love it if she just got a chance to sit down and play it. Now, here's the thing with Spirit Island, and I've heard it referred to this, and I agree. It's like reverse Settlers of Catan, because basically you're the spirits of the island, and then these jerks are here. These are the settlers, right? And they're trying to come in and basically conquer your island, and you and the natives of the island are not going to have any of it. And when I say you, I mean you play as one of these gods, and each of them has their own unique abilities and different ways to play. So good, and it just I can't get over how good it is. If you're looking for like a really brain burnery cooperative game to play with your partner, check this out. Mind you, I like it more with more people, having everybody kind of talk it out. And what's great about this game is we have yet to lose, but it always feels like you're gonna lose. It's one of those, like, it starts off, oh, we're doing great. Oh, things are going really bad. There is no way we can win this, and then you win, and it's just like high fives. Everybody feels fantastic. It's a great feeling, and you really feel like you gotta work for it. You gotta team up with everybody. And the thing is everybody's cards, because everybody gets a hand of cards, they're so unique and different that you can't really alpha game the game, which is great. You can, but I can't. My brain can't take it. You need to really rely on everybody else to know how their cards work. But as a team, you are asking for things like, can you handle what's happening over here? This situation, the settlers are spreading, they're building buildings, it's going bad. Can you do something about this? Or can you get them into this space? Because I'm the water spirit and I can drown them. I know it sounds harsh, but they had it coming. But toward the end, the settlers, it gets tough. Right, and they're spreading blight around the island, and that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And so what you're trying to do is scare these guys off and save your home from these oncoming jerks and their big boats. So Spirit Island, great cooperative game, good challenge, and that's what you want in a cooperative game. You want something that's gonna test your mind and push you to the limits. You and everybody else at the table. So good, so good. How awesome is this? Look, this, even the box is impressive. At 17, we've got GKR heavy hitters. That's giant killer robots. That's these bad boys here. Now, the theme of this is you're set in some future where cities are just demolished for sport, and everybody, your team basically controls one of these giant robots, and you're trying to get sponsorship, and it's televised and it's very commercial, and you get these. You know what it kind of reminds me of is the Hunger Games, where you'd get, those little bonuses would come in from your sponsors, and you get a little something on a parachute come in and gives you a little bonus to help you out during the Hunger Games. It's kind of what this is like. You have sponsors that are sending you all these bonuses as you're playing. So basically, you have this city. It has a great table presence, by the way. But you've got this board with actual 3D buildings, and you have these. The miniatures on this look awesome. They look like they're like this big. They're great. Great pre-painted. I said I like pre-painted minis. That's what you get here. You get giant pre-painted minis that look awesome. Now, we've done a full review for this game already, and we loved it. If you want to check it out, I think it's actually it's one of my favorite reviews, actually. Check it out on our channel. But yeah, it's such a great combat game, because I haven't told you actually what kind of game it is. It's not cooperative. Every man for themselves, or woman, every robot for themselves, and it's like a team sport. The last man standing wins, or if you get enough points. And I loved the theme. I loved having these giant robots going through this 3D city. The table presence is amazing. It plays so well. Just if you want more info, check out our review. GKR Heavy Hitters, one of my favorite games in my collection. So good. At 16, we have a game so good it made it on the list, and I haven't even opened it yet. Tainted Grail: Fall of Avalon. Okay, well, and I haven't opened up this copy. Now, we have played Tainted Grail, not the full thing yet, but when we continue, we'll probably start from the beginning. And why? Well, because I played a lot of it by myself. I played a little bit with Brittany. I'm not one for single-player games, just because I'm in a situation where my beautiful wife likes playing board games with me, so I rarely have the need or ever want to play a solo game. But when we first got Tainted Grail, or our hands on a copy of Tainted Grail, she was busy, so I played it on my own. And it was my first solo experience, and I freaking loved it. The story in this game is just amazing. Now, what is Tainted Grail? It's an adventure of like the most twisted, messed up, choose your own adventure storybook you'll ever experience. And it's so good. You get sucked into this world that this game builds that you're uncovering as you're exploring it, right? There's these tiles, you're flipping them over, and you get into a situation where it's like, okay, you have to read this part of the story. And then you have to make a decision. And how you come out of the decisions you make is based on how your character is built, or what your character's stats. So maybe they're better at fighting off enemies, or escaping a certain situation, or talking themselves out of a situation because of however their stats are set up. What's great about this game is that when I first played with Brittany, I had already experienced the story, so I knew it was coming. But I didn't tell her, so I was like, Brittany, what do you want to do? And I let her lead the way. So she went one way, and I went the other way. I went to explore another part of the story that I didn't really play around with much. And so she went to like the insane asylum. And she was like, I don't know what to do there. And I recommended going in, because I did that. And my experience, no spoilers, my experience was very different. I came out of there okay with what the information I needed. Brittany got trapped in there. So I had to run back to basically break her out of the asylum. And I'm not giving out I don't want to give out too many details, but it was such a great story that we talked about it like it was something we actually did, kind of like a D&D experience where you're like, yeah, I got trapped in the dungeon, and then Mark came to save me, and then Brittany got this, and it was just so good. And there's a battle system that it's a unique card-based battle system, but you know what? I don't have much to say about the battle system. It works fine. I like it, but for me, this game isn't about the battle system. It's about the experience, the world you're going into. And as a cooperative adventure, it's so good. It feels, the story, written so well. It's deep and dark, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's so good. It sucks you right in. Guys, Awaken Realm, you guys knocked this one out of the park. Great freaking job. No kidding that when this thing came out on Kickstarter, it like blew everything out of the water. Not just board games, everything else out of the water. Well done, well deserved. This game is amazing. If you're looking for a cooperative adventure that's a little on the dark side, a lot on the dark side, try out Tainted Grail. So good. It's just, On Mars, another masterpiece from Vital Lacerda and Ian O'Toole. Oh, so good. Comes in at number 15. Eel Griffin Games. Do not ever let these two go. Well, I'm sure it's a contract. It doesn't matter. But what a great team. Vital Lacerda's game design, Ian O'Toole's art comes together. Always magic. That's what that was. An explosion of magic. Now, if you want more information on what we thought of this game or how this game made it so high up on our list, check out our review for On Mars. Personally, I think it's a great review. You should check it out. And while you're there, subscribe, thumbs up. You know what to do. But this is a Euro set on Mars. There's so many mechanics and so many roads to victory in this game. It's so good. Mind you, it's like a 45-minute teach, so it's not light. It's very heavy. One of my favorite features in this game is you can recruit scientists, and scientists can go work at someone else's facility and gain the benefit. But while they're there gaining the benefit from that facility, the person whose facility is also gains the benefit because your scientist is there. And so while you're trying to manage your resources and get your engine going, there's just so many things you can do, and everybody's doing it. Your brain is just burning the gears, you're going, and it's so satisfying. Mind you, give you a warning, fair warning, you're gonna come out of this tired. Your brain will be tired. And this game looks great on the table. You're gonna need a big table though. I got like a 6.5 or 6 foot by 4.5 gaming table, and this fills it out quite nicely. But it's so worth it. Anything these two do, Vital, Ian, is just gold. At 14, we have Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. What an awesome party game group experience. Now, it does say best party game of the year. Dice Tower gave it in 2015. It's so good. All these seals of approvals, all these awards that it's gotten, so well deserved. So now, in Deception, one player takes on the role of, I think it's the forensic scientist, and they can't speak, so they're running the show. The game, at its core, there is a murderer at the table, and everybody else is an investigator that can talk. I cannot talk if I am the forensic scientist who's hosting this game. I can't talk. All I can do is try to play these bullets. You got these little bullets. You put them on clues that are these long cards that have words on them. And these are drawn randomly, so you have to pick a word. So they might not always be the best, but you're trying to guide the other players at the table in the direction of the murderer, while the murderer is trying to throw everybody else off the track. Now, nobody knows who the murderer is. It could be anybody. Well, it can't be the forensic scientist, but it could be anybody else. So the cards are randomly selected, but the words you're picking as the clue giver are not. But it's a very narrow window of available clues that you can give. And everybody, if I'm remembering what the terms card, if I remember what the term is called, everybody has 2 rows of cards, which is like the weapon or the motive or the clue or something. There's 2 rows, and you have to not only guess who the murderer is, but which card from each of those rows that they used, or which clue and which weapon, or again, I can't remember what the term for those cards are. As you advance, you can add more. Like if you have more players, you can add like witnesses and accomplices. And what's cool about that is the witness will know, well, if you have an accomplice, you still have to guess which one's the murderer. So the murderer has an accomplice. They have a buddy. So you have 2 people trying to throw everybody off the track. And if you're playing with that mode, you have also somebody's a witness, and the witness knows who the accomplice and the murderer is, but they don't know which one's which. I think I'm remembering that right. It's been a while since I played this, but we played it to death. So they're trying to guide people in the direction of the murderer, but if they are too obvious and the murderer and the accomplice figure out that they're the witness, they can have them killed before the court case and get away. And when you have everybody at the table accusing everybody or trying to come up with their theories of like what the reasoning is, why they think somebody's a murderer, it's really such a great time, such a great social interaction game. It's great to bring to the table, introduce new players. It's easy to teach, introduce new players. And if you have a game where, or a setting where not everybody knows each other too well, this is a great social game to bring them together and have everybody talking. And you know, I don't know if you can tell from this video, but this box has got a good amount of scuff on the front of it because we travel with this a lot. It's so easy to learn. It's like it's one of those like 2-page pamphlet rule books. So good. Great party game. You know, if you got big groups, if you're having it, or you know what? I don't like the term party game because I party when I'm thinking like, woo, everybody's drinking and spilling drinks on things. I like to think of this as a nice evening with a big group of friends. We all sit at the table, you're all chill, and you're all just trying to solve a mystery and figure out who the murderer is. So good. Try this out if you haven't. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Excellent game. At 13, we have another game that I played to death. Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game brought to us by Plaid Hat Games. This is amazing. And it's a hidden traitor game. So you're in a zombie apocalypse. It's the Dead of Winter. It's a clever title. Zombie apocalypse in the winter, Dead of Winter. Excellent. So you play this ragtag mix of characters, each with their own special abilities. You're trapped in this facility. You got to work together to like go out into the world and look for supplies and accomplish your overall goal, which is either find a cure or this and that. I can't remember what they all are. There's a variety of different ways to win and more to lose. And what's great about this is the betrayer mechanic. Because if you're playing with a group of people, it doesn't matter, let's say 4 or 5 people, one player could be the betrayer. And that's the key thing. One player could be the betrayer. You might not have any betrayers at the table, but because there's a chance that there is, it builds this tension with everybody at the table that you don't trust anyone. There's fingers accusing and pointing. Any suspicious move that anybody makes, you're like, they're up to something. You can't trust anybody, but you have to if you want to survive the winter and make it through this apocalypse. I've had games where nobody was the traitor, but everybody was accusing everybody. It was awesome. I've also had games where I've been the betrayer and came out at the end, killed a dog, and really just kind of pissed everybody off. Now that story's been shared on a lot of our videos, so I'm not going to share it here, but it was a good time for me. Everybody else, not so much. But you know what makes it suspicious is everybody has their own secret agendas that you can't tell. So my secret agenda might be like, ooh, each of my characters needs a gun, or I need 4 canisters of gas. So now if you're hoarding gas and people are like, oh, we need gas to accomplish this challenge, do you have any? And you just came out of the gas station with like 4 or 5 cards and you're like, nope, no gas here. That's suspicious. It's possible. That's the thing. There's always that reasonable doubt. It's possible they didn't have any, but you think they did. And then you think they're a traitor. And that starts the snowball effect. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? I don't trust you. I don't. So good. Great tension. Like any game that has me yelling in a yelling match with my wife by the end of the night is it's a good time. It's fantastic. So I recommend it. It's a co-op, not co-op game. You should give it a go if you haven't played it. There's a reason that when this game was released, it was like sold out everywhere. It's so good. At 12, we have Concordia. How good is this? If you've played it, you know how good this is. This game is fantastic. And it's so easy to get into. Like basically how you play this game is everybody gets 10 cards. You play a card, you do what the card says. Move on. Next player, they do what their card says. That's a general, there's your how to play. Basically, in Concordia, you're a bunch of, I guess, traders. Actually, I never really looked much into the theme. I know what I'm doing. I'm in like Italy or wherever you set up shop, because there's different maps that you can play on. And you set up shop in all these different towns, and you're generating either like wheat or clay or iron or silk or wine, whatever that is. And you're producing those resources. And not only that, but you're also picking up these cards that let you do things, right? They give you all these abilities. And at the bottom of each of those cards is a scoring mechanic, which come into play at the end of the game. So it'll score you based on like how many shops you've set up in different cities, how many continents that you have shops set up in, how much wheat you've generated, how many shops do you have that generate bricks. There's all kinds of different scoring mechanics that kick in at the end. So I love when games do that, where you can only kind of imagine what's happening on the table, but you don't know who wins until you calculate those scores at the very end. It's such a clever, clean, so beautiful game. We're getting into the part of the list where like it's like every game is my favorite. Like this is like a must own. If you do not have Concordia, then like just get Concordia. Looking at this box, honestly, I saw it and I was like, no thanks. It just does. The art does not interest me. And a lot of you'll open the box, you're like, ugh, art still does not interest me. But once you start playing, it's so good. Just trust me, it's so good. Do not judge a game by its box cover. I do it all the time, but don't do it. Do as I say, not as I do. This game is so good. Play Concordia. And coming in at number 11 is Mysterium from Libellude. I always pronounce it wrong. Libellude, I think, you know what? It's one of them. Whatever they are, whatever the name is called, it's French, I believe. So good. 2 to 7 players. One player plays a ghost. And we've had actually Deception in Hong Kong, which has got similarities in the fact that there's one player who does not speak. Everybody else does speak to try to figure out a mystery. But that's kind of where the similarities end. In Mysterium, I'm a ghost. Everybody else in it is like this paranormal investigator. And you talk to them through their dreams, or I believe that was the setting. You talk to them through your dreams and you're trying to guide them to the person who committed your murder, which is super cool. And you talk to them with these like abstract cards that have all this crazy art, like a rat wearing a top hat, riding a unicycle, chasing a butterfly that's spitting fire. It's crazy things like that. That's what you're trying to talk to them through. That's how you're trying to talk to them, is through their dreams. And it fits because it's like you're trying to decipher what are your dreams trying to tell you, what does it mean? So you're trying to get everybody to find out who the murderer is, where the murder was committed, and what was the murder weapon. So there's these 3 stages and everybody's working together, and there's a timer. There's actually a clock that ticks down. Well, it doesn't tick. It's a cardboard clock. You turn it yourself. You get the idea. Then you have to guide them toward the one true answer. And then there's one last go where it's a majority vote and everybody has to guess who, where, and what the murder or how the murder happened. And then it comes down to that. It's so good, such a great game. Easy. You know what's easy to teach? If you have 2 people, one person being that knows how to play this, one player being the ghost, and the other, which is usually Brittany, because usually we're the hosts, playing with everybody else, they can talk them through. It's one of those games that you can teach as you go. If you have one person on the other side guessing that already knows how to play, they can kind of talk everybody through it. Because the cards, how you read the cards changes. Is it like when I give you a card, is it because there's a mouse in it and that means, oh, maybe it's the kitchen because there could be mice in the kitchen? Or is it because there's a red ribbon through it and it's like, oh, this guy's got a red hat, maybe that's what that means. You don't know. It can mean anything. I'll play Mysterium any time of the day with if I have a big group, any time of the day. It's so good. So good. You gotta play Mysterium. I think it's a must-have for your collection. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee. But if you want to see more right now, we got plenty of videos to choose from. And if that's not enough, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Mark Maya, and this is Board Game Coffee. And remember, have fun, keep gaming, be social. See you next week.